For half a decade now, Cubecraft has been one of the largest and most successful Minecraft servers of all time, regularly bringing thousands or even tens of thousands of guests to the network at once. From both classic and original minigames to huge PvP arenas to multiplayer survival modes like Skyblock, there's something for almost every Minecraft player. But how did we get to this point? Well, over the last 8 years, Cubecraft has grown from a small survival server to one of the largest networks in Minecraft history. So, in today's episode of Minecraft Uncovered, we explore the rise of Cubecraft's empire. For such a large server, the true origins of it are very murky. The official website claims that Cubecraft was founded in 2013, but forum posts from one of the owners claim it was founded December 21st of 2012. Going through old posts on the site isn't of much help either, since the current site records only date back to October 20th of 2013. A previous website, cubecraftgames.net, can be traced back to July 21st of 2013 through archive.org, but even that site has an announcement implying there was an older site that I've yet to find. And the fact that there were at least 4 different servers by the name of Cubecraft at the time doesn't help me very much. We can't get any info from the domain registrations either, since Cubecraft Games only dates back to July 14th, and cubecraft.net was registered way back on August 28th of 2010 for some sort of forum that never finished development, before being sold to what appears to be a French plumbing agency for some reason, and finally being traded to the current owners of Cubecraft. What we do know is that the server was created by 2 main people, Rubik Cubeman and Marco Slater, who are both still owners to this day. The server seems to have started with just basic vanilla survival, but on July 31st of 2013, the server began to expand into a proper network, adding Spleg, Kit PvP, and Skyblock all on the same day. From August 1st to early September, which is as far back as the archives go, they also added Hide and Seek, Parkour, and 2 games by the names of Infected and Assassination, neither of which I know very much about. Over that same period of time, they ended up reaching first 300, then 400 players on the server at once, welcoming a few of them to the staff team, with 3 administrators and a graphic designer that have since left the team, and tons of moderators and builders with just a few like EFC Luke 94 still hanging around. After this staff wave, there was a blank period of time in between the final announcement on the original website, which was Assassination's release on September 2nd, and the first announcement on the new website, which was also Assassination's release for some reason, but reposted on October 20th. So for about a month and a half, Cubecraft's history is essentially completely off the records, but based on some future forum posts, I was able to piece together that SkyWars, Survival Games, Quakecraft, and TNT Run were all likely released during that time period, since there aren't any visible announcements for their introduction to the network. The huge train of server updates would continue until the turn of the year, with factions being released on January 4th and Fish Slap, which was added and removed during some time period that we don't have recorded history for, being re-released just a week earlier. They also registered a relay chat and Twitter account to talk and announce updates, just as they reached the server's record of 1,000 consecutive players on December 21st of 2013, the 1-year anniversary of the server. As the server moved into 2014, development had begun to slow down. Game modes were still being very actively updated, but there weren't many new additions over the course of the year. In fact, for the entire first half of it, the biggest updates were the addition of the new Obsidian rank in a public TeamSpeak server. But come July, there was a huge disruption in the server's development, one experienced by essentially every popular server at the time. The Mojang EULA changes struck again, this time taking Cubecraft down with them. Just to name a few of the forced changes to the server, donator kits were removed or nullified, free donor items were disabled, world edit and extra plots were removed from creative donors, and daily points were removed server-wide. Now, that may not sound like a big deal, but the EULA changes announcement was the most viewed news on the forum in over 9 months, and it's currently the 5th most replied news of all time. Because of the huge effect of the EULA on Cubecraft, lots of players and especially donators weren't very happy, and as a result, one of the admins even had to make an entire YouTube video about their plans for making donator ranks still worthwhile. They were fortunately able to recover with the addition of point multipliers, donator housing, and so on, but they likely took a big hit both in revenue and motivation from this, as shown by their lack of any new permanent game modes for nearly a year. 2014 would come to an end on a poor note, with the server desperately trying to keep donations coming by developing new benefits for them, while also balancing new game updates and holiday specials in the other hand. Things were not looking good. As much as I'd like to say that 2015 started off strong, it unfortunately suffered from many of the same issues as 2014, and would only really begin to recover halfway through the year. Even still, they were able to achieve over 8,000 consecutive players in January and add teams to SkyWars in February, but it wouldn't be until May that we would begin to see the largest updates yet. Cubecraft 2.1 would release on May 10th, bringing achievements, challenges, experience, new cosmetics, cubelet crates, and spectator mode server-wide. By the end of the same month, they were also able to bring in a new arcade minigame called Hourglass, where you try to dodge obstacles falling from the sky. The most important update of them all wouldn't come until June, and this was a big one. Really big. Just the announcement thread alone is currently sitting at 168,000 views, the most viewed news on the site by a margin of over 100,000. And the actual game release itself caused Cubecraft's player count to double over the coming months, reaching a peak of 30,000 consecutive players in December. For those that have no clue what I'm on about, I'm referring to a game by the name of EggWars, also known as Money Wars, and the predecessor to Bed Wars, Cake Wars, and the many other derivatives that have grown to become some of the largest minigames in Minecraft history. If you haven't been able to quite catch on to the idea through the background gameplay, an oversimplified version is that you collect resources from generators placed around the map, which you use to purchase armor for protection, weapons for attacking, blocks to travel between islands, and various other tools to help you destroy the eggs of other players whilst protecting your own. Once an egg is destroyed, its owner can no longer respawn, and the last man standing wins the game. There would be tons of new updates throughout the rest of the year, and even new games, but nothing would even come close to the success of EggWars. It was immediately adopted by massive YouTubers like Preston Plays, Sunday, and more, with their videos regularly reaching 5 to 10 million views each. At the peak of Minecraft YouTube, that was enough for Cubecraft to climb its way near the top, ending up at second place in the competition among the largest servers at the time. The struggles that Cubecraft had faced just mere months earlier were all but eliminated, and the server was thriving more than ever. Now we can finally say that Cubecraft started the year off strong, with 2016 bringing not only a massive SkyWars update, but also a merge with the server known as The Chunk on January 4th, adding Block Wars and Tower Defense to the network. March brought a big EggWars update as well, but some of the biggest news came with the release of Minecraft version 1.9, the Combat Update. As most of you likely know, this was one of the most controversial updates in Minecraft history, for reasons that I'd like to cover in depth in a future video. But at the time, many players and server owners alike were still experimenting with the new PvP mechanics, and weren't quite as outspoken about their distaste for the system. So Cubecraft thought it would still be a good idea to roll out 1.9 server-wide on March 6th and force it for all players, announcing the change on their forums. How wrong they were. 400 mostly angry replies later, they were scrambling to get support for the old PvP mechanics rolled out to players across the network to attempt to control the damage. Their success still took quite a hit, but so did pretty much every large PvP server at the time, and they would remain at a comfortable player count of 10,000 to 15,000 on at once, even with these new changes. Throughout the rest of the year, Cubecraft had a nice, steady stream of updates, including a revamp for survival games, the releases of Block Band and Minerware, and the complete return of Minecraft 1.8 for SkyWars and EggWars, along with the usual holiday creations and occasional QOL updates, setting a trend that would continue on through the years. 2017 wasn't the greatest year in terms of Minecraft's popularity. In fact, by the time 2018 rolled around, many considered the game to be on its way out, only attracting a fraction of the players that it used to, but for Cubecraft, this wasn't an issue. While their player count might have been dwindling, ending the year at just over 4,000 concurrent players and dropping swiftly, they had a few aces up their sleeve. The first of these were tons of new features, including the Sentinel anti-cheat on March 6th, UHC on March 23rd, 5 arcade games on May 25th, and the long-awaited party system just under 2 weeks earlier. But it wouldn't be until June 12th that they would release one of their largest announcements to date. Cubecraft was coming to Bedrock Edition. Not only would PC players get to enjoy their favorite Cubecraft games, but also those on iOS, Android, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and heck, even a few smart TVs. But it hadn't quite arrived yet, and they still had a lot of work to do on Java Edition to keep the server alive for long enough to support Bedrock's release. So, Cubecraft staff got to work, rolling out tons of new updates every week or two and beginning the development of many brand new games. The first of these were the Island Games trilogy, with TNT Trouble released on September 5th, Infection added on September 15th, and Archer Assault going live on September 20th. Entering into 2018, they brought in a few small lobby games in the form of fishing and 2 different treasure hunts, as well as Survival Bingo, a challenge minigame largely popularized through YouTubers just days later. February brought in new arcade games, with the return of Cubecraft after a huge revamp, as well as the addition of Slime Survival, which seems to be a slime-based, projectile-based riff off TNT Tag. Minorware also got 6 smaller minigames on March 1st, and by April it was time for Cubecraft Bedrock Edition to, at long last, release to the public with SkyWars and EggWars, with survival games not too far away from its addition to the server. Of course, as with most networks, when they get a Bedrock counterpart, the focus tends to shift away from Java Edition, and Cubecraft was no exception to this rule. Parkour received a reintroduction to the server, and EggWars received a few special game types, but that was about it for the new additions to Java. By October, they had begun to remove games from the network, with the new lobby retaining just 6 modes, being Tower Defense, Lucky Islands, SkyWars, EggWars, PvP, and Parkour. At the same time, internal drama caused hundreds of players to be banned for a scandal that, to be completely honest, I know next to nothing about, and I feel like it's way above my pay grade to try to explain it to anyone. I'll leave a link in the description to the forum discussion for those that are interested. But regardless, as a result of these issues combined, the year ended on a very sour note, and heading into 2019, things were looking pretty scary for Cubecraft. Unfortunately, 2019 for Cubecraft was essentially entirely forgettable. There weren't any especially notable Java updates, and even Bedrock was just playing a game of catching up to its predecessor, so I won't bore you with any of that information. But come 2020, Cubecraft's team decided to rework their staffing methodology and begin to shift focus back onto Java Edition. Since then, there have been some massive updates for both EggWars and Skyblock, as well as a new updated forum and an Among Us themed murder mystery game mode on October 26th. Bridges was added as a Block Wars mode less than 2 weeks later, followed by Colony Control at the start of December. By the end of the year, Cubecraft was thriving once again, having destroyed their previous player count record on Bedrock and even beginning to gain more players on Java Edition, now back at over 5,000 at a time. Now that we've entered 2021, the server has begun its routine of pushing out more game updates and testing new features, but who knows what the future may hold. Time and time again, servers have risen to the top, sunk to the bottom, and more often than not, they've had their fair share of both. Will Cubecraft continue to rise above, overtaking its competition in the process? Or will the server soon begin to die off once more, leaving yet another OG Minecraft network to the ashes? Hope you all enjoyed the video. I got a pretty surprising amount of requests for Cubecraft history after my last few server history videos, so I'm thinking I might keep doing these as sort of a mini-series inside of Minecraft Uncovered, along with the videos about rare names and accounts, the videos about general Minecraft history, and another series that I plan to start very, very soon, so stay tuned. Also, before the video ends, check out my Twitch at MCBYT Live. I've just started streaming over there. Literally finished my first stream like 20 minutes ago, mainly at night because it's way too loud during the day, and I've been doing Minecraft along with tons of other games. I've got at least like 50 different titles that I want to try streaming throughout the year. As I said in the last video, I'm really just testing the waters right now. I'm not really sure if actively streaming is something I'm going to be interested in, but we'll see. Anyways, that's really about it, so have a good one guys. Peace.